Hey, what's up, guys? Tougie here. I'm back again, and finally, we get to talk about the Reverse Retro Series, the new line of jerseys dropped by Adidas, or if you're overseas, it's Adidas, which sounds very weird. I wanted to wait until the jerseys were fully released as opposed to going off of the aesthetics, predictions for what the jerseys were going to be. So, as a result, here we are. Now, I will say this before we get into breaking down and ranking these jerseys on Lovely Tier Maker, because damn it, why not do what everyone else is doing? I do want to say that I do kind of agree with the take that, for the most part, these are completely unnecessary. And it does really feel like Adidas just being like, well, we lost profits this year. Jerseys all up in your face. I might have desynced the webcam there. Let's slow it down. There we go. But anyway, we'll treat them for what they are. I'll mention probably whether or not I myself as a jersey collector would potentially get one. That will factor into how I end up ranking these. But anyway, we're going to start off with Anaheim and the return of the Wild Wing jersey. Now, no doubt about it, it's a hideous jersey. Everybody knew that these were hideous. Would I get one? Yes. Is it the best jersey in this list? I don't know. It's so tough because I probably would own one if I were to expand my jersey collection. For the Ducks, I have a couple jerseys already that I really like that I probably wouldn't sell to take this one. But it is really good. It is. I have to say, though, for the moment, we're going to park it in good. It's borderlining between good and great. It really is for me. Then we move to this. Now, I will say this. The original peyote jersey for the Coyotes was ugly as hell because it was this weird shade of green and it was just gross, to be honest. This is something else. There's just something about the purple, the way it goes so well with the orange that, the green cactus color is at a minimum. Big, big fan of this as well. Would I own this over the Coyotes jersey that I do own, which is just, the modern Adidas Kachina re-release of an OEL? It's up there, just for how different and how unique it is. It's something where it's like, okay, if I wanted more than one jersey from the Coyotes, this would probably be the next in line. It's another one where for the moment it's in good. I might put it up to great by the end of this. And then we get to the Bruins. Now, for a lot of these, this is the first time I'm looking at them in full, so I'm kind of judging them on the fly here. I don't like it. I really don't like it. They do have the old school, what's known essentially as the Meth Bear logo on the shoulder, which is kind of nice. I do like the kind of throwback version of the logo. What loses it for me is just the white striping and the white on the sleeves. I mean, if that, you change the white sleeves to black, I think I'd like it a little bit better. But for me, there's just a bit too much white on that jersey, and I, in good faith, have to have it in meh at best, bad at its worst. Again, we'll see if that adjusts. For the Sabres, it's pretty good. The original red version of this I like a lot. I would never own it because it has one of those weird, I don't know if Nike made it, but Nike's one of the main companies that have this really weird collar design that also goes down quite far. Not a very comfortable fit, at least for someone like me who rocks a 56 or a 2X. But this jersey it's very, very, very nice yet again. And of all the Sabres jerseys to bring back, honestly, I'd prefer to see that logo be brought back over the goat head in this style. So yet again, another pretty high ranking. It's between good and great. We're going to put it in good for the moment. Oh, God, yes, it's gorgeous. Blasty is back, and I am excited. Now, it is very plain compared to the original Blasty design. And actually, here, we'll bring up good old NHL uniforms to mention some of this. But you compare it to the original Blasty design, and obviously, it's lost a little bit of the color for the most part. It's still very nice. I don't know where exactly I'd rank it. The one thing I like that they changed is that the normal logo isn't red on this one. It's in white, and I think it really lines up with the font on the jersey. The one thing, though, I gotta be honest, I really like it. I'm just not sure how I feel about the bottom half of the design kind of getting wiped out. So this is the first jersey where, again, I'm going to put it in good. I don't know if it'd go up to great, though. I think it's going to be between good and okay, but part of me wants to put it in great, too, because I do love that design. It's a very nostalgic design for me, of course, just gets me thinking of, like, the Jerome McGinley era Flames. And I will mention, too, for the Sabres, again, this jersey, you see what I mean about the collar there and how it dips. I am very nostalgic for that jersey, but for the most part, yeah, that's what we're talking about. And then, again, the old version of the peyote jersey, but the new version is something else. And then again, for the Ducks, that Wild Wing jersey, there are some subtle differences, but for the most part, it is essentially the same thing. Am I looking right at it? I am. I mean, I got to be honest. I actually think it works better this way with the main part of the jersey being white and then changing up the colors. Anyway, so yeah, that's Calgary. Carolina. I absolutely hate this jersey. Fun fact, moments before recording this video, when I'm at the girlfriend's like I am now, again, there's a little bit of distance, so I don't just be like, oh, let me come visit for the night and then drive back. I just say, fuck it. I take my entire setup, go to your place, hang out for a few weeks. Are we going to move in together eventually? Probably. That said, when I'm here, I have anything that I'm getting delivered sent to my parents who live around the same area that I do. And I actually just got a Dougie Hamilton Hurricanes, flashback jersey, the Whaler jersey. Just got a Dougie Hamilton in the mail today. Mwah! Can't wait to get a hold of that. But you compare that Whaler jersey to this, and I'm sorry, the gray just does nothing for me. I do feel like this could be a jersey that in the future, I might end up thinking of it as, oh yeah, that's actually, it grew on me a bit. But in terms of the reverse retro, it's really weird because they only had gray for a 5-year span. And I will say, this blue Whalers jersey is my favorite Whalers jersey of all time. I kind of wish they went with the blue. So I get where they're going with, hey, there's gray. But you look at that, for me, and compare it to this and this, it is the weakest of the three. So for me, that goes straight into the meh category, and again, might be moved down to bad. Sorry to Hurricanes fans. This is all we have for the Chicago Blackhawks, and I have to be honest, you look at the Blackhawks in the past, and they have had some, black jerseys that have been very, very nice. I'm not a huge fan of that one in particular, but it was solid. You look back to not literally the same one that I didn't mean to click on, but you look back to, you look back to like that version, which is honestly pretty similar actually. But this version as well, the one that they rocked in the 09 Winter Classic, I do own one of these. It's my favorite Hawks jersey of all time. And then you get to this, and we can't even see the front logo, but just the colors of it, like I don't know, it just, based off of that image, which might be all we have to go off of, to be honest. Let me take a look here at the Chicago Blackhawks. Do they have... Okay, so that's the front of it, at least. And they are using that same logo, roughly, from that 09 Winter Classic jersey, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It seems really plain to me. There's just something about it that's not gelling for me at all. It just kind of seems like it seems like a jersey that a team would make in EASHL if they didn't have the rights to just use the Chicago Blackhawks uniforms. So I got to be honest, Chicago, I mean, call me biased. That's going in bad. It's meh at best. Maybe I'll move it up. But I'm really not a fan of that Hawks uniform at all. Not at all. Colorado, I mean, it might very well be the best. It might very well be. I mean, again, you go back to the original Nordiques jerseys, right? Big fan of them. But the idea of using more of a maroon color on it to match up with, or I guess the burgundy that they use on modern Avs jerseys, It's fantastic, and I'd probably rather own one of these over any other Nordiques jersey ever released. It's got to go into great. It's got to go into great right out of the bat. It's good at worst, but I got to put that into the great category. There are some people who are going to say it's an overrated jersey, and that's fine. Again, all of this is subjective, but that's one hell of a jersey. Columbus. It's a horrible jersey, guys. I mean, for reverse retro, the Blue Jackets haven't really had that many jerseys in their history. I will say, obviously they've had like these two different styles, and it's kind of a take on that. Really more on this style because you see the stars on the collar or on the sleeves, around the cuff. Match up the same. The best jersey in Blue Jackets history is by far this middle one, which they still use as an alternate to this day, and it's the Blue Jackets jersey I'm trying to get my hands on because I adore that jersey. This sucks. It sucks. It looks like a weird combination of a Blue Jackets and Caps jersey, and just nothing works. The only thing that works there, I do like the cuff design. I do like that CBJ logo, but that jersey just sucks. It really does. Although, in comparison to this, it's a hell of a lot better. Is there a category lower than this? Can I do a category lower? Okay, so by default, Chicago, I think, might get moved up. That Stars jersey is atrocious. They kind of did the similar thing that they did with the Flames jersey, where the bottom half of the design just got wiped out for no reason. And literally, I think I have it here. Hold on. I'm not editing this. I'm not editing this at all. Oh, we're staying. All right, sync. Webcam. Sync. You better be synced. Webcam. Okay. Literally, though. Yeah. You see how they wiped out the bottom half of the design? Like, this is so much better. For the record, I'm selling this, by the way. It's weird. CCMs have a different fit on occasion. Sync the webcam. Sync it. Yahoo Soda, just drink it. Yeah, that is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. I don't know. Like, there was a lot of hype for this because it's like, oh man, if it's that old Stars jersey in the new colors, and it's not. They totally dropped the ball. I think the logo looks horrible, even though it's kind of the same thing. You see how behind the letters there's the white there. It's just nothing works with that jersey. And then we get to Detroit, and again, awful, absolutely awful. That is another bad jersey, no doubt about it. People have been comparing it to a practice jersey. I think it's worse than a practice jersey. The highlight is the nipple. That's the highlight. Shout out to that nipple for being the highlight of this jersey. It's just like, oh, well, we have silver on it. Okay. Like, I know there's not much you can do with a Red Wings jersey. Although, shit. I own this jersey. It's incredible. I used to own this jersey. I sold that one to get this one. Judge me if you want to. Do something like that. Do a reverse option on one of those two. Not this pile of garbage that's literally worse than a practice jersey. Awful. And if you have to ask me how I would rank these, it is probably in that order. The Chicago is the best of the bad, no doubt about it. Jersey, shit. Edmonton is the big reason as to why I'm glad I waited, because if we look at the Aesthetics jerseys, right? If we look here, their prediction for Edmonton, if I'm not mistaken, was a little bit different than that. It was one of the early predictions as well. Yeah, see, this was their prediction for the Edmonton jersey. Thank God I didn't judge this jersey for what it was. It was very similar. They nearly got it, but they got the logo wrong. If the Edmonton jersey was this, and that logo was the way it is there, bad. But because they got the logo right, I think that's a great Oilers jersey. The one thing I would say is, I don't know how I know the font lines up in a way with the striping. There's just something about the font for me that's a little bit weird. I think I would have preferred maybe some sort of different change there, but I do like that Oilers jersey a lot. It's not my favorite jersey that the Oilers have ever had, I'm going to put that into the good for the moment. It could, I don't know if it would go up to great. You could drop it down to okay, but I do like that jersey a lot. And then we get to Florida. Now, the Florida Panthers, through the early stages of them being a team, I mean, for the most part, it was very similar. You had a blue, you had a red, you had a white. And obviously, sometimes they'd change the logo for the, stick in hand. And then, of course, they'd have the blue alt that they had for a while. And then, of course, they switched to this in 2017. It's really good, though. I mean, that is just in terms of if you look at the old Blue Panthers jerseys, it's just, for me, it's the change in the gold that really seals it. I like that Panthers jersey a lot. That might be my favorite Panthers jersey they've ever released. I really like that a lot. I do have a a jersey in this style also waiting for me once I go home. I don't know how long I'm going to have this one because I might sell it to get this one. I really, really like that Panthers jersey. That goes straight into great for me. The one thing that kind of is interesting is the white. I'll say that. The white has a bit of a weird placement, but I like the fact that the cuff isn't directly white. It's probably the one thing that could knock it down a level for me, maybe to good. We'll see. It might bounce around again a little bit. The LA Kings. I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan. I do like the throwback version that they had worn around this time. Just respect for the Lakers colors. But there's just something about it where it's like, we're going to mix the 93 Gretzky era logo with the era that came before. There's just something about it that's just, it's not great to me. It's in the okay category, I would say. It could go up to good. You could drop it down to meh. I like the color scheme, but there's just something about that logo with those colors on that jersey that's just not sitting well with me. And the numbers as well, really not sitting that well with me. Just the way the striping works on that. Minnesota. Obviously going for a North Stars theme. Now, I'll say this about the Minnesota North Stars. They had some good jerseys at times. And in terms of hitting the North Stars aesthetic, that's exactly what they did. I mean, it's basically literally that jersey, except the font's yellow as a primary. It's okay. It's okay. I do like the jersey itself, but there's just something about that particular way that the Wild logo looks that just doesn't really do it for me. I'm going to put it in okay. Honestly, I'm tempted to drop it down to meh. But I do think the jersey itself, aside from the logo, works better than what we see with Boston and with the Hurricanes throwback. Montreal. The first time I looked at this jersey, I said, But the more I look at it, I am kind of getting like a Winnipeg vibe for what they have been doing lately. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't know if I certainly don't put it in great. Certainly don't put it in great. It's good though. It's good. I don't know if if it belongs in okay. I think I'd probably have it better than that North Stars jersey. Probably better than the Kings jersey too. I think that belongs in good at the very least. Nashville. Obviously more of a throwback on what they had from, a few years ago, more along the lines of the era here, the early Reebok Edge era. And I got to be honest, again, the first time I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know about this, but it's growing on me. And I feel like it could be something else that really, continues to be like, oh shit, yeah, I really do like this jersey. So looking at it, I'm going to, again, put it in good for the moment. It could go up, it could go down by one, but it'll probably find its home there. New Jersey. Now, knowing that they were going to have a green jersey at first, I'm like, okay, how do I feel about this? Because I did have and just recently sold this Heritage Classic jersey, the Christmas jersey that they did the throwback for. And it was nice. It was nice, although admittedly my favorite Devils jersey of all time is just, what they have had. Actually, it's not that, but this Devils jersey here, I mean, you can't really beat that. In terms of that throwback look, though, there is something about the green that's sitting really, really well with me. Not that that's a bad jersey, but there's something even better about that one, at least at first glance. Again, it's going to good, might even go up to great. The New York Islanders. Now, this is a very, very controversial jersey. I'm going to be unprofessional here really quickly and check that text. This jersey is extremely, extremely controversial because they didn't do anything, right? They didn't do anything. And a lot of people are pissed because, again, you look at their current home jersey, you look at that, literally the same thing, except they went back to the navy color that they had back in the mid-2000s, we'll say. Jesus, they had a lot of different variants. There we go. So they went back to kind of the navy color that we had seen here, really before John Tavares got there and left. A lot of people wanted the Fisherman as a reverse retro, and I understand why. I mean, literally all you had to do, I guess, is make the main version of the jersey teal and then have the darker blue on the outside, the navy. I have to be honest, though. I fucking love this Islanders jersey. To me, I'm not going to dock them points for a lack of creativity when the jersey just looks good. Yeah, could it have been better? Could you have brought back the Fisherman? Yes. But I do love this jersey here, the one that they've been using long-term now as their home jersey. It's a great jersey, and I think it looks even better with the navy. So, again, yeah, it at least goes in good. I know a lot of people are just like, no creativity, it's horrible. It's a damn good jersey. It's a great-looking jersey, but I understand why people are upset that the Fisherman didn't make a comeback. Speaking of making a comeback, I have to be honest, I hate it. I hate it. In terms of bringing back the Lady Liberty jersey, now, again, not sitting here being like, I own this, I own that, but I did own a Lady Liberty jersey. I've gone on to sell it over the summer because the collars are a little bit weird again on some of these old starter jerseys. It's just so bland. And again, very similar to what we saw with the Blasty jersey in Calgary. You just got rid of some of the details, and now it's a lot more plain. Look at the sleeves and how much more plain it is. Look at the collar and how much more plain it is. Look at the slight differences in the font and now how plain it is. I absolutely hate it. I mean, again, you want to dock a team for lack of creativity. I think that Rangers jersey is absolutely horrible. It seems like a practice jersey. Just like, we went back to the Lady Liberty logo, and this is our practice jersey now. I can't stand that. Ottawa. Now, I will say, I'm a big fan of them going back to what they once had. In terms of my favorite Sens jerseys of all time, though, it is tied between this one that they wore at a Heritage Classic and this one as well that they wore. Actually, this was the Heritage Classic, and then the other one was the Throwback. I love those two Ottawa jerseys. These ones, though, are quite nice. I do like the throwback look that they've gone with. But then, obviously, this is in the same style. Compare that to these two. It is clearly the worst of the three. And I have to be honest, the collar really throws me off, too. Because you see the black and red, the red and black. But then the black and red on this, when it's already a red jersey, just really doesn't do it for me. So, Sens fans, I'm sorry, but to me that also goes in bad. I don't like that jersey at all. Big fan of these two, but there's just something about that red being the primary that does not sit well with me. And then we get to the Flyers. When I first saw this jersey, I'm like, do I really like it? And I thought I hated it, and I gotta be honest, looking at it now, I thought, is it not as bad as I thought? It's not good. You compare it here to the ones of the past. I have to be honest, I can't stand this jersey. And it is, again, coming down to the extended white sleeves. I just think there's too much going on. Like, we have the orange piping here, but the white piping here, there's just too much going on for me. I don't know if it belongs in bad. I think I'm going to put it in meh for the moment. The problem is you then have to compare it. Like I said, other jerseys might be boosted up because of worse ones from before. I'm going to leave it in meh. I think it probably avoids bad because of the Stars, the Red Wings, the Blue Jackets. Pittsburgh. It's okay. I got to be honest. Like, you look back to the early Lemieux era, that these are actually really, not really necessarily early Lemieux era, but you look back to these and there's something about these that just kind of sits right. But then there's just something about this where it just feels a little bit off. And I don't know what it is, but I can't rate it all that highly. I think both Pennsylvania teams find themselves in meh with the potential to go down to bad. San Jose. This is another jersey that I feel like could grow on me as the years go on. Obviously based around this era of the Sharks. I do like both of these jerseys. I admittedly like what would have been the home jersey at the time. Of course, you wore white at home. But the collar on these are a reason why I would never own them. They're very, very bizarre. Maybe it's just seeing that version of the logo again. It's just the gray. The gray just doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't. I think there could have been a different way to maybe work it, but there's something about that gray that just doesn't do it for me. I'm going to have that in meh. Could end up going down. St. Louis. I love the jersey that it's based upon. Can't find the blues here. Love the jersey that it's based upon. I own one of the more modern Adidas versions, Petrangelo, and it's great. But there's something about a St. Louis jersey being a primary red for me that just doesn't do it. I would have probably preferred it to be yellow. Go for the yellow. People are like, oh, it's red, it's bold. I think what would have been bold was to have it be a yellow, because I think in that shade of yellow, it probably would have topped what Vegas has done with this, which wouldn't have been difficult to do because holy shit, that Vegas jersey is terrible. So I don't think I can put it in bad, but it's in meh. Might go up to okay, but it's not that great. Tampa. I do like the version that it's based upon. It's based upon these two jerseys from that time of the Lightning and really heading into, when they won their first cup, the St. Louis Cavalier era. I like these quite a bit. There's just something about it with the white shoulders, but being blue instead, and rather than black. Again, it might not be in bad, but it's at least in meh. It's just not a great jersey for me. Toronto goes straight in the bin. The logo sucks. The logo absolutely sucks. The text with the size of the leaf, no. Working gray onto a leaf sweater, no. The blue on blue, no. Nothing about that jersey works for me. Vancouver. The original version that this is based off of, the original gradient, which you see down here at the bottom, I cannot stand that jersey. And that is a controversial take from a lot of people, whether or not you're into collecting jerseys or not. A lot of people love this jersey. I think it's awful. I just do. I can view the mustard cat in Nashville as so bad that it's good, except for the collar, which is a nightmare. And I'm sorry, just changing it to modern day Canuck colors doesn't do it for me at all. I'm sorry. At best, it's in meh. I'm putting that in the bin. Vegas. A lot of people were excited for a red Vegas jersey. Is it better than the ridiculous alternate that they released? Yes. But it still goes in the bin. It's a horrible jersey. I'm sorry. Like, the shoulder patch logo as the main logo doesn't do it for me. The red doesn't do it for me. I don't like anything about that particular jersey. Washington. I would go up and get it, but I'm worried about the camera desyncing. I have a Screaming Eagle jersey, a Kolzig, actually trying to sell that at the moment as well, because again, some of those old jerseys fit a little bit weird because humans have gotten bigger and materials have changed. I gotta be honest though. There's just something about it that's just not doing it for me. It's not a bad jersey, but it's not a great jersey either. There's just something about it that doesn't sit well with me. I will fully admit it might be something that grows on me. I'll put it in okay, meh at worst. It doesn't go into the good category. And then we get to Winnipeg. And this might be the primary jersey that I would say could grow on me in the future. The problem is there's no red. And, you know, you look at the history of the Winnipeg Jets, there's always been a little bit of red, even if it's in the logo. And in terms of the best Jets jerseys of all time, it's these two. I haven't bought the 2016 Heritage Classic because the collar's a little bit weird, but I do own this Jets jersey, and I love it to death. There's just something about that, though, that just doesn't really sit well. Again, that gray color. Like, this whole design really does remind me of the fashion line jerseys that they released in the 90s. And if no one's seen those, feel free to look them up. Maybe we should review the fashion jerseys a little bit later on. But I'm really not a fan. I think it could grow on me. Like I said, there's something about the blue and then the lighter blue that I really do like, but that gray just isn't good. It's just not. So then we look here. I'm going to start off in bad. When I leave that Jets jersey in bad, it's a tough call. Actually, let's go from the top. So that Colorado jersey, is it better than the Wild Wing? Yes. So it stays. I think I have to move the purple Kachina up to great. There's a couple of others that could move up here. Yeah, I might just stick with my initial instincts here. I might just stick with my first reaction. Like I said, I mentioned to you guys as I placed them what could go up and could go down. But I might just stick with this. Again, the Nordiques jersey is great. I'm not going to go through all of them once more. But there are some that could be moved up and down a little bit. Like I said, is it fair to say that Blackhawks jersey belongs in the same category as Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, and New York? I'm not sure. If I were to move anything up from the bad category, it would be Chicago and Winnipeg to the meh. In the meh, I don't think I could move up any of them to okay. I couldn't. And again, the Bruins, the Whalers, I still think they're better than Dallas and Detroit. To be honest, it might be unfair to have other jerseys in the same category as Columbus, Dallas, and Detroit. We're going to move up Chicago. No, we're not. I'm going to stick with that. That is the final rankings for the moment here. Again, we talked about where the movement could be. But as you can kind of tell, overwhelmingly for me, how do I grade the Reverse Retro series as a whole? A lot of meh and a lot of bad. Meh overall, okay at best is how I would grade these. But let me know what you guys think, not only of my opinions, I want to know your opinions on the jerseys as well. If you want to find this, you can literally just search Adidas Reverse Retro Tier Maker, and it should pop up for you. I'm not the one that made it, of course, but yeah, you should be able to find these. Obviously, polarizing opinions abound with these, but for the most part, The question is, how many of these jerseys am I going to buy? How many of them are going to replace ones that I already have? There's a decent little shot at seeing some of these jerseys in the old Tougie 24 collection here over the next few years, I would say. For now, though, I'm out of here. Hope you enjoyed this one. This should be up alongside another video here on YouTube with the Maritimes Division Franchise Mode series that we have going on. And, of course, if you haven't checked it out already on Patreon, we also have another Draft to Glory series going on with two-way forwards and two-way defensemen only. That is up on Patreon right now, another new episode. And, of course, continue to stick around. We're going to continue to make NHL 21 stuff, more hockey-based stuff like this, some of the kind of throwback content that we've been doing with the GM trade histories, the redrafts, looking at players' careers as well, branching into that. A lot of stuff going on this channel. I thank you for hanging out. I thank you for supporting me and this channel. I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy. Stay safe. And goodbye.